UndergroundVideoNetwork.com presents the We Talk Too Much podcast.
This is where the fun begins.
Comic books, superheroes, sci-fi, gaming, and everything nerdy.
That's it. This is just too weird.
Now, here's your host of the We Talk Too Much podcast, Mike and Richard.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's We Talk Too Much. I am Mike Boroff.
I'm Richard Catterjohn.
And we have a special guest in the studio. I think that's still the way people say it. And he's in his studio, but we are joined by a friend of the show and friend of ours, Frank James Bailey. Frank, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
It's always weird because, Richard, I actually see Frank more than I see you.
Yeah.
Because Frank works in the same building I do, so I see him usually kind of in passing, but I get to see him about every day.
Just so you know, I was this close to switching jobs, but I'd be working in the exact same place. I told you about that. Remember?
Yeah.
But apparently that person who does that job that I wanted to take doesn't want to leave, so now that job isn't open. So the company I was asked, hey, they even interviewed me and everything, but it's like, well, they don't want to leave yet, so we'll let you know. Okay.
That's a bummer, but
yeah, I know.
It really is a bummer. I would like to see you do it because it's a pretty easy job. See, where I work at, we've been working throughout the pandemic, but we're very responsible about it. You know, we wear the mask, we do deep cleaning and everything, and they take our temperature and give us masks at the door. And we have a woman, the woman that Frank was talking about, is basically she is literally the one that sits at the laptop with the thermal gauge that reads people as they come in. It's just like, you're fine, go ahead. Yep. You're fine. Go ahead.
They're called temp takers.
Yeah. Oh, you're very hairy. Come here. I got to use the actual.
Yeah.
That's why they like me. My bald ass walks through the door. They got a reading on me before I even get close enough to. They're like, you're all right. So, before we start anything, we have a congratulations to hand out to my good friend Richard over here. Richard, you just graduated college, man.
Again, yep, another one.
Another one, all right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I got through my roads. I actually had started that sort of before I went back to OSU, and so I decided to go back and finish what I started there, and then I wound up in digital marketing at the same time. So I have a digital media associates and then a digital marketing certification. So and then a bunch of other little certifications that go along with that, like Hootsuite, HubSpot, and a social media thing.
That is awesome. I am so happy for you, and I got to tell you, man, I really think that you picked the right career, because that is something that is going to be around. That is something like even right now is. With the pandemic and everything going on, is still in very much high demand, because we've talked about it before, Richard, when we talked about shows that, like the animated shows, it's work from home type job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we need you to come up with this. I can't imagine what the job, you're going to get right away is, but here's the project. Do the project. You don't have to actually be in the building to do it. Do you have a computer? Yes. Do it from home.
I'm actually stepping on Frank's toes. I've actually got a voice gig for a commercial coming up.
Awesome, dude.
They like my voice. I oversampled my voice and made it really deep and bassy. I know I got a way I can do this with some of my mics. And I did that on my commercials for my the capstone project. So my advisor goes, this other one of the other students is doing a project for something else, and he needs a voiceover actor. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Are you recording it from home?
Yeah, well, from the studio that I got. I actually, the church I go to, we got a built-in studio, so I'm just going to do it up there.
I thought you sounded familiar, Richard, because the other day I got a phone call and it came up Richard, but when I answered the phone, they were asking me about my extended car warranty. I knew it was you.
But I just thought that was funny since Frank was on tonight. I go, yeah, I actually got someone needed help with the voiceover because he doesn't have no equipment or something. He actually has this little contract. And then I actually started to do a couple other little video projects and stuff, which the one I can't talk about, but it's going to be cool.
That is fantastic, Richard. I am so happy to hear that.
But I'm still looking for a video editing job right now, and then looking for grad school. I got accepted at one school, but I didn't go there. But I'm still looking at a couple other ones.
So if anyone watching is in a position that needs somebody like Richard, I would suggest go back through the last 20-some years of our video. That is his resume right there.
There you go. Exactly.
I think I could be overqualified. Everybody keeps putting me down,
He's made this look and sound good for 20 years. Now, if that's not some Lucas level CG work, man, I don't know what is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but hey, speaking of projects coming up, Frank's got some big news.
Yeah, I got a new comic out. It's hang on here. I will go.
Oh, I got it for you here.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the one, which is comic number 4, Fighting Blind. This is my biggest comic yet. It's 36 pages, and it's only $5. But it's a continuation from comic number 3, which was out last September, and I think we talked back then sometime too. Yeah. But this villain named Burmese. He has his necklace. So it's like a snake necklace. And it's like he can kind of, if he looks you in your eyes, he can kind of mind control you. But he has to look in your eyes. So Fighting Blind is about the girl. She can put this blindfold on. And, that means, he can't control her, But she's the one girl who's, she's pretty good at karate and martial arts and that kind of stuff. So without saying bad things about a school, like, and bad things happen in the school. This is sort of my way of saying that happening. Burmese comes to a school as the school is over, and he's controlling some of the students, making him fight her. So it's not like it's my version of that was very lighthearted.
Right.
Yeah.
Bringing attention to the subject, but in a very your books are very child friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I'm hoping eventually is to slowly inch over into like the young adult area. Just slowly. I mean, not right away, because obviously Harry Potter was like, for young kids, because the first 2 or 3 books were like for young kids, and eventually it started getting the kids got older, and the books were like, okay, this is like, there's people are dying in here. That's for young kids.
Yeah.
But that's how it started off,
Well, that's one thing I've always wanted to ask you, Frank, and I never think about it, but you gave me a great segue to it. Was especially the main character of your book, Tercona. Mm-hmm. Do you plan on aging her like naturally, or is she going to be like comic book where perpetually the same age?
See, she ages 1 year for every 10 years on Earth, so she's not going to age that much at all. But gotcha. The people around her will. So the idea eventually is to show like she didn't age that much. And of course, like Brittany and Brian, the other age, like they aged a little bit older,
Right.
And maybe talk about a couple of little more, not really mature things, but like young adult type of things. And that's what, again, that's the Tercona.com. That's my artist.
Sorry.
And he just there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way.
That's okay. But I have to write a new blog about I have another comic coming out in June, and I'll tell you guys this. This is interesting. Okay, I'm really here to plug the latest comic, which is comic number 4, but coming out in June, and I just got the proofs to this. Is comic number 5.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So, and I just got the proofs of this from, you probably know him. He's from Columbus, paid by, I forget his name.
Oh, okay. I just went blank. Oh.
Yeah. But he's always at this Comic-Con in Columbus called
Space.
Yes, correct. And yeah, he but I see him all the time there. He's the one who prints off my comics. But in comic number 5, again, not till next month, and you're going to understand why here. This one's called Coming Out to a Friend. Because Brittany it's again, she's a teenager with a father who doesn't really,
understand
and agree with the LGBT community. So, and a lot of my gay friends were saying, listen, you can't just keep hiding the character all the time. You got to, say something about it eventually. So that's what number 5 is basically about. And I also had somebody else, a friend of mine who's on Instagram, do a special cover. So that's a unique special cover. Cool. And it's by Sadie Samet. I think her name is Sadie Samet. She's on Instagram. And so she did that. Again, and my artist thought that this might be a better cover than the one because I have, in case you can't tell, this is the one I like because it has the thing in the corner and number 5 and stuff. My artist seemed to like, he said, well, this is like the new way of doing things. It's like, there's no thing in the corner. It's like, well, okay. So I have some of these printed off. And I told him, tell you what, let's find out which sells better. So they're both $5, but the Sadie one, that one's going to be 10. But again, not until June, because June is Pride Month. Mm-hmm. So it's a perfect time to put this one out in June. But again, I gotta have these printed off. But this one's going to be coming out in June. And but the biggest one, the one I'm plugging right now is number 4, and this one is like I said, 36 pages, and it's slightly mentioned a little bit in this one.
Kind of leading up to it.
Kind of leading up to number 5 a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She has her dad. It's like her sister over here is sick, and she's like, "Well, hey, I'm going to school now." And their dad sees something on TV. It's like, "You shouldn't be watching that," and he gets kind of ticked off, and then it's like, "All right, fine." Again, dad doesn't know, so he just kind of ticked off and talking about that kind of stuff. So, and then. The one thing I really like is the sort of thing happens again at school. There's a boy just happens to see these 2 girls coming out of the school, and he kind of squirts pop on them, and and Brittany sees that and does this little karate moves like, read that, bring in boots, no, between the lines. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, Brittany sticks up for the people that she knows.
And what's great too, Frank, especially about you'd mentioned the multiple covers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most mainstream thing that you could possibly do in this industry right now is have the multiple covers, because God only knows that's like the unifier. It doesn't matter DC, Marvel, Image. Throw out as many covers as you possibly can. You want to do a cover? Do a cover. Here's a blank cover.
Again, for the one for that number 5 for that Sadie cover, I had to pay her quite a bit of money for that because I hired a new artist for that. So I'm hoping it pays off, because I'm sure she'll tell her people on Instagram. She has like 50-some thousand followers. She has a lot of followers on Instagram. So hopefully the investment of having her show her friends, hey, I got to get that comic because her cover's on that. Hopefully it'll pay off. So, but yeah, I remember watching a video by Stan Lee. And Stan Lee said that, Marvel represents the people. It's like a mirror to their world, and it's like Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously about racism, so that's why I wrote that one, that comic number 5 coming out next month is, because that's part of the world that some people, have trouble dealing at home with that, especially teenagers,
Yeah.
So, and it's not like I'm going to dwell on that subject. It's just that one comic is going to be about that. So,
and from the way especially from the way that you described it, especially going from 4 to issue 5, it's happening very organically.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a, hey, this is a popular thing to talk about right now. Let's drop it right here. It's good storytelling when it happens and it flows organically, and it comes about in a real way.
Well, the interesting thing is, in case anybody ever asks, you just had to put a gay character in it. No. I've known that since the very beginning. Since I wrote book 1, the actual first book back in 2016, when you were at MTV Comic Con and say, hey, look, he has a book here. I've known this character that way since the very beginning. And the idea was, you know how in cartoons there's Kim and Ron. Oh, you know, they're going to be together, you know, and there's Danny, Phantom, and Sam. Oh, you know, they're going to be together because they're power couples, you know. But I thought, well, what if there was like two best friends, one boy and one girl, kind of like Will and Grace, only teenagers, you know? Mm-hmm. So they were the best of friends, and that's how they met and stuff. So but then, you know, Paige or Tercona comes around, and now Brittany starts fighting crime with Tercona because she's good at martial arts and make a good team. They make a good crime fighting team, you know? So and then of course she feels more open to talk about things, and that's what issue 5 is. She kind of talks to her about that, you know? And it kind of talks about how she's dealing with this at home. That she doesn't want to tell her dad and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, I've written issue 6. It'll come out next year, but it only dwells on it for like 1 or 2 pages, and then we get on to the back to the, you know, the main story part, which is the Maurice thing. So, yeah.
Thanks. Well, you'd mentioned earlier too how you'd met one of the artists at Space. That's one of the things that has been very beneficial about everything that's happened in this last year with, you know, the quarantine. There's so much really good raw talent, and especially in Ohio, you know, Richard knows this better than I do because he gets to go to Space more than I do. Folks, if you're out there and you have an idea, there are people out there that are more than willing to help. You know, if there's people out there that want your help, you know. If you know how to extend your hand to it. Shows like Space are great for that. It's like, look, here's my talent, here's what I can do. What have you got?
Can I assume you've been to Space a couple times before?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Well, I know it's in Columbus, and I went into it once. Matter of fact, I think I went to it once just to kind of look around, and then the following year, I had a table there. Now, that was back before I had comics. I just had 2 of the books, and I didn't sell anything. So maybe I'll go back to Space because now I have like 5 or 6 comics and 3 books. I might make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah.
See, Rich has a completely, I don't want to say completely different. Richard is an artist and a comic book creator. Me going there, I'm just like wandering around buying stuff left and right, you know. But Richard is there. He goes not for UVN. He goes there for Richard.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because remember, Cosmic Zoo 11 is almost done. I almost got that done last week, so it should be ready. Yeah.
I've been loving the stuff that you've been posting.
Because I posted the cover about what was that? About 3 weeks ago. I posted
about 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Hey, just out of curiosity, Rich, do you know anything about TikTok?
A little bit. I heard you're on it.
Yeah. Well, I was just because we were talking about artists. I'm thinking, you know, there's a lot of artists on TikTok that I've noticed that they're most of them
they sit there and draw, and then they speed up the, you know, like they film. They film it, then they put it in like fast motion to show how they do it, and then even like painters and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, even like fine art people is doing stuff like that, and then they joke around with like the music and stuff. You know, because I know there's I can't think of her name. There's an artist out of Seoul, Korea, that she does a bunch of like dancing while she paints and stuff.
Well, I noticed there was a lot of artists on TikTok that I don't see you on Facebook. I don't see you on YouTube, but it's like they're just on TikTok. And it's like, that's interesting. It's like they found a space where they can go and tell people about their art. And I've connected with quite a few different artists on TikTok that you know, even though I don't do art, you know, I just write, but a lot of them say, well, writing's like an artwork. So yeah, you're part of us, man.
My experience with TikTok is pretty much limited to Baby Yoda doll videos. You know, I went down the rabbit hole of those, and I'm like, I'm looking over at my Baby Yoda, and I'm thinking, I am not utilizing you to your full potential. I should be doing this. I could be doing this, but then I watch the level of creativity that they can churn out in like 20 or 30-second videos, and I'm like, I'm out of this league. I can't, you know.
I'm just curious, Michael, how many T-shirts do you have? Because I just
oh my god,
I had switched. I have a lot of winter clothes and summer clothes, so I put away all my winter stuff and pulled out all my T-shirts. I'm thinking, I got too many T-shirts here. I have a drawer full, and I have other ones. I was like, Do I have too many T-shirts?
I could go down the T-shirt rabbit hole. I actually, as a matter of fact, talk about a segue. Speaking of space, one of our friends, Molly Durst, made this shirt.
Okay.
And I have at least two more, I believe. I have one more shirt from her. It was the one that I actually had a little bit of a hand in making. It's a silhouette of Ohio, and it says Ohio, the heart of it oak.
Okay. And
there's a couple more that I've seen from her store Envy and on her Facebook account that's going to be purchased. But T-shirts, I've had to do a purge.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking I have to do one too because my drawer won't close anymore.
I really
figured you can relate to that.
I really want to blame it on my dryer. Now hear me out. I know what you're gonna say. But I've noticed here recently, now I'll be the first to admit, especially with quarantine, we've all, packed on a few pounds, but I noticed here recently, like I'm going through my T-shirt drawer and I'm putting on T-shirts. And it's not even just like the belly. Like I go to put them on and I'm like I know my neck did not, and the sleeve.
Yeah.
I've gone through, I think it really was, and I know people are going to mock me for saying, oh, he's blaming the dryer, Chubby McChubbinstein, but I've noticed here lately, like I go to get ready for work and I'll put a shirt on and I'm like, nope, that one's going in the pile, because like I'm not one of those, I am not one of those tight T-shirt guys that walks,
muscle shirts.
Like I can't. Yeah, I gotta have a little bagginess to my shirt, but I've been going through and I'm like, I get ready for work. I'm like, nope, that one's out. And there's been a few of them where it's just like it's breaking my heart. Where I'm like, I really don't want to get rid of this shirt, So yeah,
shout out to Molly. It's Geek Out Art.
Yep, that's it right there.
Okay.
I think the next shirt of hers I'm getting ready to purchase is she made one that said it's got a clever design to it, but says I'm fully vaccinated, but I still want you to stay 6 feet away.
Okay.
Oh, bless you, Richard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The people on our audio, I got the shirt up, but just go to the Geeks. Let's see. Going to say it wrong. Geek Out Art, and it's on Facebook. Just look for Geek Out Art, and you'll be able to find all her designs and stuff there.
Awesome.
Oh, and for those that are listening, the shirt that I'm currently wearing that was made by Geek Out Art, and Molly says, "Never apologize for being a nerd," and that is one of my favorite shirts ever. So I'm more than happy to give her a little plug.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me one of those because I'm a big old nerd too. Like I had a bunch of relatives here yesterday, and they were looking at my pops. Matter of fact, last night I went live on TikTok for almost an hour, and people were coming and going in my live broadcast. But I mean, it was interesting. Within an hour, I had about 215 people watch the video. Like one person came to the left and stuff, and new people came. Some people left. All together, within an hour, I had like 215 people watching. I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I was blown away. But of course, it was also my son's birthday too. So I it's kind of like, hey, we're celebrating him, and some of the kids were over, and I was not doing that stuff. But yeah, apparently if I heard, and they haven't rolled this out yet, but the people who are creators on TikTok, again, just heard this, but if you can go live for 3 hours a week, on your account on TikTok, at least 3 hours, they'll pay you up to $300 a week.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, I can handle that. I'm a talker. So again, it's only rolling out to certain people right now. So I want to try and build my TikTok up more. But, I think, yeah, I can handle that. So my goal is to maybe quit my job that over there where I'm working with you. Quit that job by September thing. That everything lined up perfectly by then,
Frank Bailey, TikTok influencer.
I don't know if it'll happen, but it may be.
And the other thing where everybody's at right now is Twitch too. The gaming. Yeah.
The ironic thing you mentioned that, because 3 or 4 people on last night's live thing said you should try Twitch. Okay.
That's where we got our Twitch channel. That's where we're streaming right now on Twitch.
On Twitch?
So,
Okay.
yeah. We still don't have the full, we're not affiliated like Amanda or anything, but
Okay.
Amanda is brilliant when it comes to utilizing Twitch. She has really gotten that down.
But mostly she plays games, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's also been bringing in a lot of content creators lately.
Yeah.
She's been having a lot of the popular ones. I know on our Gem City Comic Con online from this year, we had a bunch of the content creators and stuff. And that's where a lot of the stuff's at right now is the Twitch streams and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that too. It took me a while to realize it too, because I'm one of those people that when I hear Twitch, I'm like a lot of other people. I immediately think we're going to be watching people play video games.
Yeah.
But
that's the first thing I thought of too.
Yeah, but she's utilizing it so well. She's using it to its full potential.
And Sean Forney and Ronnie Fike is using it too, because they have their Thursday night draw competition where they get online, draw against technically like a draw against each other, and then they sit and chat.
Drawing duel.
Yeah. And they've been getting good response on Twitch too. So so that's another outlet too I would look into.
Yeah, I think I will, because I'd like you keep telling me, since I'm a talker, I could probably do that. And the first thing I want to do though is probably play a couple of games. I don't want to make it a gaming channel, but it's like, does Amanda do all games or just some games?
Just some games. Yeah.
Okay.
She goes, I think 4 nights a week gaming.
Okay.
Because you have to get so many hours every week to stay in your level or whatever. Okay. So I can't remember what all she does. I know I've experimented. I played Asteroids there one time.
Okay.
And I did Defenders.
Yeah, I remember those games.
Yeah, I got it set up where I can actually go full on 4x3 using the old analog to digital response, because I actually have an old analog camera, switcher, and Atari all hooked up together.
Now all I have is my computer here and my big screen. Yeah. So whatever game I have on my computer, I could probably play as long as I log in and stuff. And right now I can only play Fortnite. I'm not Fortnite. I'm at Roblox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can play Roblox because I think it's called OBS.
Yep.
Yeah, I have OBS. Yeah. So I can record the screen as I play, but that's the only game I have on my, computer. So
they have these little adapter things for like HDMI out of like your PlayStation 4s or whatever, and it's like a USB. It's like a HDMI to USB, and you put it in your computer. Then you can make a window on your screen of the capture, or of off of like the PS4 or the Xbox or whatever.
What's the other one? My son and my wife both have
Wii?
No, not a Wii.
The Switch.
The Switch, thank you. The Switch, yes. There's so many different ones out there. I can't remember them all sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, they both have Switch. Matter of fact, my wife is probably playing Fortnite with my son Mason right now, since I'm down here. Yeah, she's into she loves Fortnite.
Yeah, I think that's what that's one of the games that she streams.
Yeah.
Because they got the skin for like the Star Wars Hunter or something like that, or something. Bounty Hunter.
And I know the other one that she was really big into, I think she still plays, is Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she still does that, but yeah, that was one that she was really into, because she's Lady Vader, so she was big into Darth Vader. Now, hi, Amanda. I think if you're watching,
from a totally different perspective, if you really think about that, Fortnite is a very big marketing thing. Because you buy skins to play the game, but you don't really need a skin to play the game, Right. Some of these skins are like buco bucks.
Microtransactions. That's a 4-letter word in my house. But I grew up playing EA games, so that's microtransactions.
Yeah, you got to buy the V-Bucks for that, and like with Roblox, you got to buy the R-Bucks or R whatever bucks for to buy certain things on Roblox. I think every game has their own little bucks that you have to buy to play their game.
Oh yeah, even the game I'm currently playing right now, it's not an older game, but I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and every once in a while, like when I go to do a quick save, instead of pressing up, I'll press right. and right goes to the store. And I'm just looking at this. I'm like, man, I'm not spending $20 on a Jason of Argonaut's, fleece armor. Like, I don't need the Spear of Antiquities or.
Now, see, we're a little older. We're intelligent enough to know, hey, I don't need that. But little kids between like 10 and 15, oh my God, I got to have that.
Yeah.
We got to go fight Galactus, on Galactus Day or whatever that was.
The Lego games were about as close as I ever got to going way down the microtransaction hole, because it was just like, oh man, I could get Hank Pym's Ant-Man suit from 1950. Oh
wow.
I'm already linked to the store.
So just out of curiosity, there's a bunch of some cons are coming back. You guys going to any cons later in the year?
We're looking at Gem City.
Yeah. I'm going there too. I know, and I don't know how well it's going to be because after all the whole pandemic thing and stuff. But Jim and Dan is doing their shows too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to go to 2 of those.
Yeah, because I have a couple cosplay friends that went down to one of. I don't know if it was Jim and Dan's, but it was like a Toy and Con Expo where it was just like a smaller one. Like that.
It's the guys down there in Greene County, right?
Yes.
I can't think of because they're the ones that had the show the same weekend as my show from last year when everything got canceled. Yeah.
I know my daughter is anxious to go to a Comic-Con and cosplay because she's really getting into cosplay. But she loves My Hero Academia. So she wants to cosplay some of the My Hero Academia characters.
Preaching to the choir, man. Actually, what was it last week? This would have been last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I had my first in over a year Heroes Alliance event. Actually, with Heroes Alliance, I haven't been able to do anything with the Columbus branch of Heroes Alliance for some time. But they organized a very responsible. It was a walk for autism down in Columbus. It was at a high school, and it was in conjunction with like the 501st and the Apollo base, the Star Wars groups. And yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. It was very organized. It was very responsible. But when the organizer posted the event, they posted it about a month or so ago. I'd already been fully vaxxed. I'd already had both my shots. I smacked that, not the interested button. I smacked that going button as fast as I could because I'm like, I'm in. And I'm telling you, I really
another photo.
Yeah.
No, that was recently, you said, right?
That was just last week. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And
you're lucky since you're Ant-Man, the whole face is covered, so you don't really need a mask, right?
and it was double for me because that was one of their stipulations is even if you're wearing a helmet, because a lot of the people down there were Star Wars too.
Okay.
So there was a lot of Imperial troops, but the stipulation or one of the guidelines is we would really like it if you had at least one of the vaccinations. Even so, if you come, we want you to be in a mask. If you wear a helmet, that's fine. We ask that you keep it on, and if you take the helmet off, you put on a mask. Mm-hmm. And it worked out for me because I'm in a hazmat suit. Yeah. I am covered from head to toe. But underneath my helmet, I've always worn, it's kind of like a ski mask. It's just to kind of keep, my head from getting scratched up in the mask. Mm-hmm. So it was nice. So even when I took the helmet off, I still had,
Gotcha.
I was still covered. And I'm telling you, it was so much fun. And I really understand a lot of the stress that a lot of the cosplayers have been going through. I've been going through this last year too, where I'm one of those guys where, I have in the last year, I've purchased and put together 2 or 3 costumes. Mm-hmm. in the last year, I've done 2 different versions of Geralt of Rivia from Witcher, my Avatar costume. I've tweaked my Ghostbusters uniform, Lex Luthor. Everybody's been working on costumes, but we've had no place to wear them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to find my daughter's cosplay. I can't find it though. I wish I could find it. Keep going.
Oh,
sorry.
Word of advice I have for anybody, especially who's been subject to quarantine, try your stuff on. I was very lucky. The Ant-Man suit has always been I purposely made it just a little, not baggy, but I didn't go skin tight on it. You know, I wanted to be able to move because I'm a very active person. I'm not one of these people that, you know, I just stand there and, you know, wave to the kids. You know, I'm very active. The suit was fine, but Richie, I know you've seen it. I have an ice pack vest that I usually wear under my Ant-Man suit, and it's adjustable. It's got strings here on the side, but I had got it to the adjustment, and I had tied knots in it so it wouldn't loosen up. That Saturday night, I'm like, you know, I haven't worn this in a while. I better check. Oh, I am so glad I did. Because it was I had the ice packs on, and I'm like, so I had to do a little bit of adjustments to that ice pack vest, and I am glad I did. It was a beautiful weekend last weekend. We were outside the high school, and it was about in the 80s, and I wasn't alone. You know, one of the guys from the 501st, one of the Star Wars guys, was there in full Chewbacca. Well, full Wookiee.
Wow.
Wookiee.
Okay.
Oh my God. Dude, I almost had a fever just watching him walk around. I mean, it was there he is.
Did he do the noises and stuff?
Oh, he made some growls, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was one of the things that we talked about was upcoming cons, and people are still responsibly, they're kind of 50-50 on it. You know, an event like that was one thing. It was outside, and you know, aside from when it came picture time, we spaced out, and a lot of people they're very excited for it.
So there's potential for Gem City. People are excited, but also cautious.
Yes, and rightly so too. You know, but we know Jesse. Richard, you know him better than I do, but I can't see Jesse going into this and not being precautious.
Well, he did tell me when I had it that my table's all set, but it's like there's not going to be nobody next to me on either side because we're spacing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got into it right away.
Yeah.
So I can't find it because there's a character called Toga on My Hero Academia. She wears this like, you know, I don't know, schoolgirl outfit. She's like, you know, blonde hair, likes blood and that kind of stuff. My daughter put the whole cosplay together. It looked really cool, but like there's so many Toga ones. I didn't really take a picture of her with my phone. So I don't have it with me. I was trying to look for it, but I can't search it because, you know, can't find her.
But I know me and Richard have talked about it. Gem City is definitely one we're going to look into. Now we're both going to be very responsible about it. Yeah. To a point where I'm even planning costumes around it. You know, I was actually debating, Richard, on doing one of the little Facebook polls or whatever. But I was really leaning towards either my Lex Luthor or my Ghostbusters. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine. I was like, I really want to break out the Lex Luthor because I think, you know, it'll be one that will get recognized. But I go, I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to wear a mask, and I'm afraid if, you know, with the mask, you know, you won't be able to see the beard. A friend of mine gave me a brilliant idea. She sent me a link to it too. She sent me a link to a face mask that has the Superman shield on it, and she goes, just take a little puff paint and do like the Ghostbusters.
There we go. That's creative.
That is brilliant. I'm really thinking that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one this year.
That's pretty brilliant. I like that.
Yeah.
So there's also the Cincinnati Comic Expo too.
Right.
They said they're going to have it in September, so I'm crossing my fingers because I really want to go to that one. So, but what the it's September, so it's a little ways off yet.
Yeah.
But you guys have been there before, right?
Yeah, I used to work for them. I used to work at that show.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good show then.
Yeah, I did all the panels for the first 5 years.
Oh,
I
wow.
ran the panels. Yeah.
Okay.
The Jim and Dan comic toy shows are June the 27th, August the 8th, October the 24th, and December the 12th.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to October and December, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure I went to those two shows, or I'm planning on going to those because I want to go to ones as late in the year as possible, just in case.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to him for those shows because Jim and Dan's always been good to us, so I just want to make sure. And then Space has been pushed out till November.
Mm-hmm.
Another shout out we should give, Richard. I saw the pictures from it. Free Comic Book Day had been officially pushed back to August, I believe, 14th. But our friends down at Pack Rat Comic Books still put together a Free Comic Book Day last week. Mm-hmm. And it was, again, I give them credit for it. They handled it very responsibly. They took the adequate precautions. I just didn't get to go down. I really wanted to, but I knew I was going to be in Columbus Sunday, and that was it was a literal coin well, not a coin flip. I chose the Hero Alliance thing, but had it been a different weekend, I probably would have gone down. Going down to Columbus 2 days in a row is like, I'm an adult, man. I still got laundry to do. I got a yard to mow, man.
And it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive, right?
It's almost, for them, I've timed it. For me, it's almost exactly 2 hours.
Okay.
So you figure 2 hours to get there, 3 hours
to get back.
Yeah. I had a yard to mow, man. I had,
And you got to stop at Racing Canes.
And yes.
I know Mike too well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But no, I got to see pictures because our friend Dirk Manning was down there.
Yep.
A few of the cosplayers that I know of FL was down there. They had a great turnout, and again, very responsible, very cautious, very mature. But they had a great turnout.
I had a couple people I found on Twitter. TikTok, showing some short videos of other cons happening in other states. It's like people are trying to slowly get back into it. And most people in the cons were very cautious. It's like the tables were pretty far apart. People were wearing masks, and people were out trying to do things, So
yeah,
that's good. It's good to see that people are trying to get back in the normal sense,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Space is pushed to November the 6th and 7th. This year. That's the Small Press Alternative Comic Expo. So if you want to get your indie comics on, there's the place to go in November. But Bob is also going to have an online show in July. That's July the 10th and 11th. So you can catch that the first weekend, then next weekend, then go down to Gem City. What is it? 2 weeks after that, then, right?
Yeah. I speaking of online shows, I got you guys this weekend. I have something, I forget the guy's name, but somebody booked me next Monday, and I have to call him at 9 o'clock in the morning because he's from the UK.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to talk to me from the UK, and it's his time. It's like 8 hours away or something. So it's for a YouTube channel. And then, of course, I think 2 weeks after that, I got another one on Twitter talking to me. And then there's, have you heard of, I've been doing the same, God, I keep forgetting what they're, CromCon.
Out of Virginia, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
Anyway, CromCon, they do it like every month, and he wants to have me at the end of the month. So I'm trying to book as many people to talk about my new comics as possible, before the next one comes out. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to keep talking to people and get the word out,
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of forgot to say, but where can the people get your comics then? How do they get it?
Real simple, Tercona.com. You can go to Tercona.com. You can go to there. You can actually go to I think it's called the store page. And then you can see what comics are available. And I had a special before my birthday was April 15th, and I had a birthday special for comic number 4, which was buy the first 3 comics and get the 4th one free. I think about 2 people bought into that, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But after that sale was over, okay, here's comic number 4 that was available. I'm like, more people bought that one than the special, which is as it maybe people already had it, you know. Yeah. They want to buy all 3 of them. So I'm also thinking, okay, when I go to cons, I wonder if people will like, oh, you have a lot more stuff now, you know, because I haven't been to cons since early 2020. I only had, I only went to one con, which was Wizard World in Cleveland, and I had comic number 2 then. Now I have 3 and 4, and I'll soon have 5. And of course, I had first 3 books. And as you were talking about special covers, I have a special covers for comic 1, 2, and 3 available on the website, but I'll also have those with me at the shows as well. And I only made I think a special cover for the first 3 comics because the number 4, I was like, the special comics the special covers aren't selling online. I only made 50 of them, and some people did buy them. I have a feeling it might switch when you go to shows. You know, people, that's a different cover for that one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I go to Tercona.com. You can also figure out, also see the characters. Want to know more about which character. You want to know more about the books and stuff. The original books, the comics are all there. The place to buy them, that kind of stuff. All available on Tercona.com.
Yeah, there's the page, right?
Yep. And that's see, there's the number 4 right there. Yeah. And I've had people, buy. I also have prints available too. Now I have never had prints to sell at a con before until I got prints available for last year. So I'm hoping when I go to cons, hey, that's a cool looking print, and I didn't do the prints, my artist did the prints, but I'll have prints to sell. So,
right.
So it'll be something a little bit different.
Well, it's I just got the confirmation. I am going to do the voiceover. I just got a message.
Awesome. Now, are you going to have a good microphone like this one?
Yes, I do. I got it real nice. I use Sennheisers.
Well, this is a Sennheiser. This is actually a Sennheiser 416 over here. So,
ooh,
yeah, it's the. I only like this Sennheiser here because it's a bigger room, and the closer I get, and it's more angled. Now I have another. Obviously, this is a stage mic. You wouldn't use this for voiceovers at all. No. But I have a room over there that's all padded, and I use a Rode NT1000.
Oh, cool.
And that it makes your voice sound a little more warm, a little more deeper. And of course, with the padding everywhere, it sounds real dead. So that's the perfect room to do voiceovers in. And I like this one here to do my TikTok videos and whatever else when I'm talking to people like you guys. So,
cool.
Yeah.
It would take a computer of immense power to make my voice sound any deeper. I've had me and Rich have had people complain that it sounds like they're auto tuning my voice. I'm like, no, that's just the way Mike sounds. His voice is that pitchy and nasally. Oh man!
And you guys mentioned earlier you wanted to talk about a little bit like on Invincible, right?
Oh well, we didn't. Yeah. Because I mentioned earlier because I had the event last Sunday, when the realization hit me that, oh man, I haven't pulled that costume out of the closet in like 6 months. I need to do some work. So we kind of went on, and it was kind of a good break because we had a few CW shows, but me and Richard were less like, that's cool. We'll talk next week. We've had a few shows drop in the last couple weeks, and the season finale of Invincible was one of them. I'm gonna try to do my radio voice. We're getting to that point of the show. We're gonna have to say spoilers, people. Everything we talk about is stuff that has already happened. And
spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
But I'm telling you, man, I had an idea of what to expect, but Invincible, the season finale, was one of those shows that I had to basically turn my phone off because nobody spoiled anything on like Facebook or anything, but people were already like, man, this is heavy. This one shook me. This one was unsettling. I'm like, I don't want to know nothing. And boy, howdy, were they right.
Yeah.
The season finale of Invincible literally pulled no punches.
Yeah.
Man.
In a matter of speaking.
They
Man.
added a few.
Yeah. I think what makes it even better is the violence of it is so subset by the bright, cheery, primary color style of art that they use. It's very much the art of the comic book. It is. They didn't deviate from that style very much, if at all. It's not a dark, gritty, shadowy type of book. It is a very colorful, almost Hanna-Barbera in some way, the bright, vibrant colors. So you're watching it and you're expecting this, but then all of a sudden, this hand goes through a dude's head and you're just like, oh, look, there's an eyeball.
Or the guy he saved when he fell down. Yeah. It's like, what'd you save him for? Pushing a zit. Yeah. Like, oh my God. Right in front of the sun.
The guy in the jet, it was just like every chance that Invincible had to save somebody, Omni-Man came about and went, why?
Yeah. Man. I read, or I saw online too, that these 9 episodes were kind of taken from the first 12 comics of the whole issue.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah.
And one of the major things they changed, which obviously technology, because the comics were made in the early 2000s and people had flip phones. But now everybody has technology with a cell phone, so they changed that, obviously, and they changed it for the better, I think, because now the whole world sees exactly how Omni-Man was. Before, you couldn't see that because it was just flip phones. So that was a pretty good, tweak to the more modern day.
I really do. A lot of the small tweaks that they made from the early 2000s first run of the comic book to the animated series, I think were very well done. Especially the introduction of a few characters, the changing of a couple of the characters' ethnicity,
making LGBT positive too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like one of the changes I thought was brilliant was I have the first couple issues was in the comic books his best friend is just your standard straight white friend.
Mm-hmm.
But them making him gay in the comic book or in the show added so much to it because that episode where they go to the college to see his best friend's that was so well written and it added so much to the emotional conflict. This wasn't just a random guy at a college that got kidnapped and changed into a cyborg, This was his best friend's boyfriend, and it added so much to it too, because the whole theme of Invincible so far has been, him coming into his own as a superhero and constantly screwing up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the biggest screw up is his best friend came to him. He goes, I think he's in trouble. He's like, he's fine. I got to go worry about my stuff. And it really bit him in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
That was some very beautifully done storytelling.
Yeah, of course, when, I forget her name, but the girl, he's like, she broke up with him again. It's like, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Why'd you lie to me?
That was, I
was like, really? I think you say something.
Yeah.
Well, of course I know you're invincible.
I didn't break up with you because you're a superhero. I broke up with you because you're an asshole.
Exactly, yeah.
And the other thing I thought was really good was his best friend wasn't a computer expert hacker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How many times? Oh my! Me and you, Richard, have talked about this. It's just like it's almost like if you're a guy or if you're a person and you have the computer tech friend, there's a good chance you're going to become a superhero.
Yeah,
because it's it's like
the guy in the chair.
But no, these last couple episodes, man, have been wow.
I think the line that hit me the most on the last episode was when he's like, he's telling his son, he's like saying, it's like, oh, you will live for thousands of years. These insignificant people. It's like, what will you have left? I'll have you. And that's what made him fly away.
That was beautiful, and I can't say I do know this. I do know this for a fact because I do have that book. That was from the comic book.
Really?
Where Omni-Man was just beating the hell out of him. He was like, "What will you have?" He's like, "I'll have you," and it was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. I heard again. The cartoon is different than the comics. It's slight tweakly, but it's like I've heard that he's gonna have a good story arc. I'm hoping he does because they do. Sometimes they do it differently with cartoons or the animation series. So, but he's going to be a good person to watch and see what happens to him. But I want to see what happens to the Invincible now that he's gone. And I heard that the people who I forget who created the same person who created the comics also created The Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, I heard that he has enough material to last 10 seasons if they let him.
Oh, no. We were talking about this just earlier. I went to my local comic book store, Alter Ego, in Lima, Ohio, and for the past couple months, we've been talking about how a lot of the properties that like Netflix and Amazon have been purchasing. The Umbrella Academy, Lock and Key, Invincible have really made a resurgence of those comic books. And it was very proven to me just today because while I was at the comic book store, the guys working there showed me that you can find Invincible. I believe that they're called the Omnibus or they're the collections. But there are 3 of them. In each one of those 3 books, collections is about 2 to 3 inches thick.
Wow.
And it was perfect timing, and I'm not making this up. A gentleman came into the comic book store specifically because he was a real big fan of Invincible, the cartoon, and wanted to find the comic books. He specifically went in there. I swear, I will swear on a comic book right here and right now that this is a true story. And the first few trades, they had the first few trades, and they were telling him that, they made the suggestion to him that here's the first trade. The first trade is like $12.
Mm-hmm.
Our suggestion would be, pick that up. $12, what's your loss? And they showed him the omnibus or the collections. The collections themselves were about $60, which is not bad considering how many hundreds of books were in. There's 3 of them, and you're talking about 15 years worth of books.
Mm-hmm.
And they explained to him, like, if my suggestion to you would be, if you like the trade, we can order them, because they have started to reproduce them, because each one of the collections had on it, based on, not based on, but as seen in the Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So they are re-releasing them brand new for a new audience.
So you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance.
We were talking about it today. A lot of places like Netflix and Amazon are seeing the market for these animated shows. And I mean, Rich, you can confirm this for me. I think you shared it on the UVN page that Invincible has already been renewed for not 2, but two more seasons.
Yeah.
So it's
heck, Stargirl was just renewed and it hasn't been on yet.
Yeah.
Stargirl?
Yeah. on DC Stargirls.
Okay.
You know, it's on CW. It hasn't even aired yet, and it's already been renewed for a third season.
Yeah.
They're just starting to crank these out. But I think a lot of that has to do with the CW stuff. I know that's not quite the animation stuff, but the CW stuff is going to have another home with HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not only that, aren't a couple of shows on the CW kind of like isn't Supergirl going away or something?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
let's just go ahead and
new, but fill it in.
let's just go ahead and jump right into this because I have been waiting for this. I've said before, I am a huge fan of the Supergirl of the show. I always have been.
Yeah, look like Lex Luthor, so
that was one of the greatest moments of my life when they cast when they John Cryer, man. I was just like, my time has finally come, and I will defend that show. That being said, look, we've talked about this before. Every good show has its off season. Name me any show, and I will tell you, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had its off seasons. You know,
I've been hearing rumors around the grapevine it's going to be on Disney Plus again as a reboot.
Oh.
Really?
Okay,
that's something down the road. That's something.
But that being said, now granted, you know, with COVID and everything, we understand that, you know, filming new episodes was hard. That being said, I'm just going to come right out and say it again. The opinions of Mike Boroff are strictly Mike Boroff's and not of Underground Video Network, blah, blah, blah. The last few seasons have sucked ass. The last couple episodes.
Episodes, okay.
Bad.
Well, I think like we talked about before, it has to do because I think they just kind of threw these together, you know, and I think this was the hodgepodge of the leftover from the season before and this season, you know. I'm hoping after they get done with this, season mid break or whatever they call it this week. So hopefully
mid-season finale.
It's not season finale. It's like the CW shows always did a break at the end of November. Because they weren't on in December, technically back when it was on full schedule. So they would always have like specials and stuff on CW. And then it would come back, January, wasn't it? Like mid-January, right,
yeah.
Mike? You know, so they had this like little break. Well, they don't have the luxury because they didn't have the scheduling this year. But now, what is it? The Superman's going to flip-flop back, right? And then Supergirl will come back on Sundays again, right? Aren't they going to put it back on its original time slot because Batwoman wraps up, correct?
Yep.
So Supergirl will replace Batwoman, and then Legends, which is on the total flip side of Supergirl. So, you know.
So I think Legends is almost over with too, right?
No, it's going strong.
Okay.
It's just losing a bunch of cast members again. They're
Gotcha.
doing the same thing like Flash. Flash is going to it has for sure announced this week that they're losing two cast members too. So,
well, here's what surprised me, Richard, was because the two people that they announced were officially leaving the show. We kind of thought they had left the show already, anyways. Because
I thought Cisco left a couple seasons ago.
Because
I know he came back for Crisis on Infinite Earths, though. He came back for that, right?
Yeah.
But then after that was done and over with, they made it sound like he was leaving the show because they'd kind of written him off in a way because he was like, I'm going to go see the entire world and how Crisis affected it, which was basically like an open door way of saying, you know, I'm out.
Yeah.
And the way that they handled the Harrison Wells situation, you know, I thought that they had left already. So when I saw that, I was like on Instagram or something, Richard. I saw that they were leaving. I'm like, dude, how old is this post?
They were brand new.
But now that I know for sure that, you know, that they are officially that both Cisco and Harrison are officially like leaving the show, I'm like, oh man.
At least we're getting Impulse now, though. Have you seen the costume?
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate, you know.
It is pretty accurate. I still don't know how I feel about the casting, though, because when I think of Impulse, I think of a young kid. I think of a 14-year-old.
Right.
And they're casting him with a much older
Well, I think what they're doing is they're flip-flopping him with the daughter, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because the daughter comes back in episode 150, and then I think they're going to flip-flop, and Impulse is going to be their son.
Now, this is a Netflix story, right?
This is the Flash. This is on.
Oh, the Flash. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, technically, Flash is still on Netflix right now, but I don't think these seasons will be. These seasons will be over on HBO Max.
Wow.
Because I think they stopped all the. Now that they did this HBO Max thing,
Yeah. But I have HBO Max, and I'm really liking it so far.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but
we'll flash forward to Flash in a minute. I'm not done bashing Supergirl.
I know.
No, I got to get this off my chest. Those two last episodes, the prom episode, those were horrible. Those were badly written, and I'm sorry, but the two blue aliens. One of the best comparisons I've read. It was like on an Instagram comment or a Facebook comment, but they'd made a Doctor Who reference where they'd said something along the lines of those two blue aliens made the 1940s aliens of Doctor Who look like the 2000 aliens of Doctor Who. Like they were that level of bad.
wow.
They literally just went down the street, bought some cheap blue paint, slapped it on him and said, "Here, do silly voices. Do some silly voices and you're scary alien." Those were bad.
They were alien collectors, Mike.
Yeah,
come on, get that correct. It was for the two. It was they were loosely based on a Superman series or even a Supergirl, I think, from the 50s. So
okay,
but I think what really made me mad about those two episodes was, again, my opinion, I thought they were very poorly written. Was what made me angry is the potential they had, because the kids that they had playing young Kara, young Alex, and young what was the guy's name? It was
boyfriend. Oh,
Kenny.
Yeah.
They were brilliant. They were acting wise. You could not have convinced me that they didn't pluck those actors from like their childhood. They were great. Like when I saw young Kara and young Alex together, I would have sworn that was the two of them when they were kids. They did a great job. They just had really crap scripts, Like I'm a science fiction fan. I give a grain of salt to everything, Richard. But one of the moments is like I sat my drink down and went, "I'm out," was when the ship landed in the football field. And, oh, here's how we'll solve that problem. I'll use telekinesis to lift the ship. You use telekinesis to rip the grass.
Well, no, her eye, she did the heat vision.
Right. We're just going to tear up this football field, bury the ship, and then the grass is just going to lay right back on it.
So where did all the dirt go to? Yeah, where did all the dirt go to?
Where did all the dirt go? Look, time travel, I have no problem with that. Intergalactic aliens, I have no problem with that. Physics? Don't mess with physics. Don't mess with displacement. That was a damn large ship. Where did all the dirt go?
Mm-hmm.
Now they should have just left it cloaked like in Star Trek 4,
Yeah.
Well, we saw what happened when you leave a shirt. That was the other actor. No. I will give this. I thought she did a great job. The young CJ Grant, the younger Cat Grant.
Yeah.
I thought she did a great job. Again, the acting wise, I didn't have a problem with. I thought they all nailed their characters. It was just the writing that was atrocious.
Right. I was thinking, I wonder if they got confused when they were casting for a new, younger Supergirl. We was hearing all the rumors for on Superman. I wonder if the rumors got all screwed up and this was actually for Supergirl.
Possible. Very possible.
Because they supposedly recast a new Supergirl. Well, maybe they could. why don't they do a younger version of Supergirl? Before she became Supergirl. That'd be cool to do.
Yeah. The other problem I had, Richard, is how the hell did Dreamer's phone work 20 years in the past? Seriously.
The doctor took his sonic screwdriver. Oh wait, wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong show.
If they would have bothered to have done some science fiction wibbly wobbly stuff like that, I would have let it slide. But she just whipped out that Android or iPhone, whatever, and was just like, "I'm calling my mom."
It probably was an Apple because she's a good guy.
Oh, that's true. Well played. Well played. Yeah.
Yeah, bad guys aren't allowed to use Apple. I heard that.
Like what happened when her mom got the call? Like I'm sure that even back then they might have had some kind of caller ID. Did it come up? Caller does not exist.
Well, she probably had one of those intergalactic cell phones.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was an alien too, so.
Yeah.
So they had like the little add-on thing that makes it so they communicate with the satellites throughout the universe,
Yeah. And I will say this, I did like the one subtle little adult joke that they slipped in where when Dreamer was having trouble interpreting her dreams, Cat Grant ended up being the cougar. Now look, I know that they were saying it was because of cat, but come on. We adults in here, we all know what cougar really means. Yeah. And we all know that Cat Grant was a cougar. I'm like, I'll give you that one. That was a good joke. That was a solid joke. But I could not, like, every time the two blue aliens came on screen, I'm like, I can't, this is unbearable. And I have watched 1940s Doctor Who with literal styrofoam cups for aliens, and I'm like, this is bad.
Wow. I'm having. You said it's is it? Can I assume that these episodes are probably on HBO Max now? Or not yet?
The Doctor Who, you mean? Or
you said they were on Supergirl, right?
Yeah, but Supergirl's still under contract with Netflix, so they won't be on there until after the season's done.
So the interesting thing is, why is the Superman one going right to HBO Max then?
Because they never signed the contract with
okay. Now I understand.
Because when they created that series, they just never had that in play. So, but the older stuff from CW was already contract with Netflix. Because that's when Netflix, because they hadn't done their own streaming service yet.
Yeah.
Because they were going to, because they were talking about that back in the 90s doing that.
Yeah.
Because Time Warner was actually, back when there was the Time Warner Entertainment, they wanted to do that a long time ago.
Streaming,
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It just wasn't quite there yet. And that's when Netflix jumped on. So Netflix was really a testing ground to see if people would actually spend money on a streaming service, just like Hulu. Because I beta tested Hulu when it first came out, because that was supposed to be Warner Brothers streaming service. Because Warner Brother, Fox, 21st Century Fox or 20th Century Fox TV, Disney, and was it Sony? Yeah, it was Sony, wasn't there? There was 4 of them went together and created Hulu. That was supposed to be their combat against Netflix. And they was going to start putting, but it just didn't quite work right. And then Disney just started buying up everything.
Gotcha. Yeah. And now Disney has everything, or almost everything.
For now, yeah.
Because
everything except Warner Brothers.
Because Hulu had all the contracts where, like, you could watch NBC shows, Fox shows, CBS shows, all like the next day.
Yeah, and it's still live. I think it's Hulu, the Orville. When I was watching the Orville, they always had it like the next day. And I was like, I love that. If I've been missing the night before, I can just watch it then.
Yeah, that was part of that Fox contracts because with Disney buying Fox, a lot of that stayed in play. And that's just like you have, what is it, FX on Hulu now? That was all part of that.
Sorry, Frank mentioned Orville. And too soon, man. I just,
it's coming back.
Well, Maybe they still haven't said for sure what's going on.
Well, I saw some things on Twitter. I think it was Seth MacFarlane actually showing they're actually filming on the set.
Right.
But again, they're just pictures, so I don't know.
We've gone into it. I could do an entire show. Here's all I'll say is the Orville is some of the best science fiction I've seen in like decades. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. But hey, speaking of time traveling aliens.
Okay.
You see how you like what I did there?
Nice segue there.
Man, Legends. Thank you, Legends writers, because after the last craptastic episodes of Supergirl, I'm like, even the lukewarm, not bad, but not as good as they could have been episodes of The Flash. I was like, I need you, Legends. I need you now more than ever. Did not disappoint, man. I'm telling you. The only beef I have with Legends, I understand why they did it. It was kind of clever, but we didn't need Gary to be the damn alien. Why did it have to be Gary? I don't have a problem with it, but it's just like we've seen him without his shirt before. You know, when the unicorn ripped his nipple off. So, wait a minute. He puts the glasses on and it's his disguise, but
it's Crisis.
Fudge.
Or no, it's 0 Hour.
Okay, that's all you had. Okay, I'm good. Damn it, Richard knows me too well, because anytime I get into an argument with CW stuff, Richard just goes Crisis, and I'm like, damn it, I can't argue at.
Yeah. Well, have they had a good crossover since Crisis?
No.
I was curious.
I doubt they will either. There's nothing to cross over really anymore.
Mm-hmm. There is talk. Wasn't Supergirl crossing over with the Flash for a 2-parter or something?
I think for like a 2-parter.
Yeah.
But nothing on the level of the crossovers that we've seen in the past. I think the days of those crossovers.
Yeah, it's done for now.
Done. The moment Oliver Queen died, the idea of crossovers just had no appeal to me anymore.
I still think what's going to be cool is on HBO Max, I could see a series where they would do, because of Crisis, they could go anywhere.
Justice League?
Huh?
A Justice League type of thing?
Well, no, it'd be like the what were they called? The ones that always went from multiverse to multiverse.
The Challengers.
Something like the Challengers, yeah.
See, I know my comic book history a little bit. Challengers of the Unknown.
Yeah.
They could get into the crossovers that the CW couldn't get into, like we talked about Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, Titans.
Yeah. Or even Teen Titans Go. Could you imagine them crossing over to
Oh my God.
No, like
not Teen Titans Go, just Teen Titans, please.
Hey man, if Supernatural has proven anything, the idea of an animated crossover is not outside the realm of possibility.
Yep.
So
didn't Supernatural do a Scooby-Doo one?
Yep.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh my God. He ate when Dean ate. I'm done. I loved every bit of that. But Legends was fantastic, man. I mean, the season premiere of Legends nailed everything in one episode that I loved about that show. We got a little bit of the sci-fi. We saw a young David Bowie. That was brilliant.
Him and the Super 8 camera,
Oh my yes,
because that's what he used to do. He used to film everything.
Yes, he did.
Interesting. Okay.
No, he did. Bowie was historically known, like he loved to carry that Super 8 with him everywhere. So no, that wasn't just a, hey, wouldn't it be funny if David Bowie had a camera? No, he really, that's canon.
Wow.
That's canon. But I mean, the idea of the way they set it up, Richard, where when Sarah released all of the pods and they scattered through.
Right there's the season.
There it is, right there, man.
Because because I know it was all about aliens this year. So we'll be going different time frames, trying to stop whatever she let
Yep.
go. Right.
Yep. I did. I loved that episode so much. I loved seeing Nate have the conversation with Bowie about his, because it was such a far-fetched thing, but like Bowie just like took it in stride, and like seeing Sarah get hauled off by the aliens didn't bat an eye to Bowie. He's like, oh, that's Space Girl.
Inspiration for a song there.
Oh man. And I liked the way they handled John, because I liked how John was just like, look, this is time traveling alien stuff. This is out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
They didn't try to force him into being, like
something he's not. Yeah.
Something he's not. Yes, exactly.
But I just wonder how he's going to figure in for the rest of the season, or will he take like a little sidestep or something?
I don't know. I'm very curious to see that, because I mean, at least like the past couple other seasons, there was time travel stuff involved, but I mean, there were demons involved, so that
right.
That was his wheelhouse. But
and I wonder how they're going to write Mick Rory out.
Oh, I know. I'm still heartbroken about that one. Because actually, now that Mick is leaving, Sarah is truly the really only original legend.
Right.
Everyone else is gone now. I mean, I'm not, there's not that there's not legends, but everyone else is gone now. I know, maybe fingers crossed, maybe, we'll see some familiar faces, in the future of the show.
And like I was saying that, and then probably for next year, maybe we could go to HBO Max with Legends, and they could be the ones that do the multiverse traveling.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Instead of time travel, it's multiverse time travel.
So do you know when all these other series are going to go to HBO Max? When Netflix contract is up and stuff, or
yeah, that's when all the reruns will move over and stuff like that.
I mean, do you know when it's going to happen?
I'm thinking, well, it had to be with this season, I think, because that's how they got Superman and Lois. So it was either this season or next season for most of them.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure how long they have Arrow for.
Mm-hmm.
And the other nice thing about Legends is, we've talked about this before too, Richard, where the CW shows have always had the bad history of, when it comes time to do a crossover, they're all about the crossover. But when they're on their own, they handle the idea of everybody being in the same universe very poorly. At least in Legends, they did this. Somebody had the brains enough to say, hey, we're dealing with aliens. Let's go to the DEO. They go to the DEO, which was destroyed because we'd learned that from Crisis. That was one of the few shows that actually did a follow-through. You know what I mean? It's the show that takes itself the least seriously. I mean, they've even made jokes about crossovers before, like what was it, like that one Nate came running into the room, like, oh, are we talking crossover? I'm like, no, we're staying out of this one. But
okay.
But no, at least Legends mentioned it, and it was like, no, DO's out. We don't have time to deal with this. Let's go handle our business. At least they touched on it.
I lost my monitors. Sorry about that. I lost all my monitors for a second.
Oh,
that's why that popped up.
I thought you were getting ready to pop up something Legends or
no. I was. That's what I was looking for, and all of a sudden it's like, what just happened? I was afraid it was going to be another reboot like that. What was it, a month ago when my computer decided to reboot?
Oh, that was scary.
In the middle of your show, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Michael was telling me that. All of a sudden, you went dead, right?
Yeah, because my computer was forced one of those Microsoft updates right in the middle of the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, just out of curiosity, have you guys seen the new Bad Batch yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk about Bad Batch.
The first one I thought was excellent. Second one was still pretty good, but the first one was like it reeled me in right away. Especially with the cross with Kanan, you know.
Yeah. So. Which I'm hearing a lot of people are already kind of like, you know, the super fans are just like, whoa, that didn't happen with Kanan and he wasn't, but like, it's not like Star Wars hasn't made continuity flubs before. Did you guys notice in this I noticed it and I had to rewind it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the most brilliant Easter eggs I've ever seen. It was in the second episode, again, spoilers.
Okay.
But when Hunter is leading the family to the spaceport, the one clone, the one that they went to visit, the dad of the two, he bumped his head.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
As they were walking through like the not the hallway, but they were going through like the alley or whatever to get to the spaceport. He bumped his head, and I'm like, "Wait a minute! Did they just do that?" And I rewound it, and I watched again, and he, sure enough, there was. Oh no, the spaceport's this way, and he bumped his head, and I was just like,
you know, it didn't even dawn on me why he bumped his head until it's like, now I understand why he bumped his head. Okay.
It's a genetic clone. It's a clone genetic defect. If the roof is too low, man, a clone is going to bump their head.
Wow. Yeah. That's a cool effect. Yeah.
And as we've mentioned on the show, as I've mentioned on the show 100 times, one of my favorite, not genres, actors, is voiceover actors. I love that in the last like 10 years, especially with the internet, people are able to see and learn more about great voiceover actors. D. Bradley Baker. If you look up the credits to Bad Batch, there's like 7 people each that do one voice, and then there's D. Bradley Baker, who they basically list as everybody else.
Yeah. And he's also Scooby-Doo.
But every
guy's brilliant, man.
Every single clone you see on that show, Bad Batch, is D. Bradley Baker doing a different voice. Holy crap, man.
It's okay.
What happened to the sound?
He does that every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it's not just one or two characters. It's not only is it the entire Bad Batch, but it's every other clone that we see as like a background character. You know, like when the clones were attacking the starport where the ship was on lock. Every one of those, that was all D. Bradley Baker. That was all one dude. Wow.
Yeah.
That is, man.
I know there's some voice actors out there who can really change their voice so much, and you can't really tell it's them because they're doing different characters.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, wow, he's doing a lot of characters in one show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
I was genuinely surprised when I looked up. There is a separate actress that does the voice of Omega. And I was actually really surprised by like that. I was really, if like I had just learned that they had like altered D. Bradley Baker's voice to do Omega, I'd have been like, yeah, that makes sense. But like, no, they did give her a separate voice. But let me ask you guys, we were talking about this at the comic book store earlier. I love the character of Omega. I love the idea that, you know, that what's the alien? What are the aliens, Richard? Because I keep wanting to say the I want to say chameleons, but it's like
the chameleons. Yeah.
That they made a female. I don't want to say for them, you know, but that these clones have a little sister. Popular theory right now. I'm just gonna say am I the only one that gets the feeling that she might not be a Jedi, but she is definitely Force sensitive.
The one line in episode 2 that hit me right away was, they don't make clones for a reason. They all, the one is strong, the one is super sensitive, the one has a good shot. They all make these super, sensitive clones for a reason. So what is her purpose? So there's something different with her that we haven't seen yet. And one of the things I've noticed is, do you notice she had that round thing in her forehead? She was all upset because somebody yelled at her. She put that thing off, and now she doesn't have it on.
Right.
So I wonder if it's just a medallion, or if it's something to keep track of her. I don't know. But I'm sure we'll find out. But it's like, wait a minute, they wouldn't have taken it off of her for a reason. So
right. This is a race who, like you said, they said the line, that they don't make clones for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that they might have been able to get a hold of a Jedi's DNA to do a little, intermingling to see what would happen. I think that is very well within the realm of possibility, and I think we're going to see more of that later. And I guarantee we haven't seen the last of the young Padawan that we saw in episode 1.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if we saw more of him too.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's like, what are you talking about? Orders? These defective, clones didn't obey the order of 66. So, except for one.
And I like the idea that the Bad Batch, like, they were having a hard time wrapping their brain around the idea that all the other clones were chipped. That they were behaviorally modified, especially the big strong one. He's like, he had the hardest time accepting.
I want to kill somebody.
Yeah, I want to kill somebody. I
want to blow something up
because I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested to see what they do with Crosshair too, because I got to admit I didn't expect to see Crosshair go full. I don't want to say bad clone, but I thought it was going to be like a redemption arc, like he was coming to realize that they were right. But
you never know; they might be doing that. We got 16 episodes this season.
Yeah.
So. And I would just like to point this out, as a self-admitted Lego fan. I just want to point this out. Lego has already announced that they're going to be releasing a set of the Bad Batch with the shuttle and 2 speeders. I'm just saying. It's not like a custom set. It is official. They are going to be releasing a Bad Batch Lego set, and
I talked to a couple of I think people who make cartoons. Okay. And one guy, he had actually told me, it's like, if you want to turn your thing into a cartoon, it's great. The voice actors have paid, and the animators get paid, and you get to be on, that's fantastic. But how is the studio going to make their money back? What you just said.
Yep.
That's how they make their money back, by selling these toys to people who are, one, collectors, but also kids too. It's like people are really excited about this kind of stuff. And if it sells great, they'll keep going. Like Teen Titans Go. I might not like Teen Titans Go, but it's probably selling a lot of toys. And that's why they keep going. Yeah. They're making their money back.
I'm not surprised, because they released 3 different Mandalorian sets after the Mandalorian. Now, it was about like the mid-season, because they released one that had the AT-AT from like the first, it was like 3rd or 4th episode. And then they released the Razor's Crest set that came with the Razor's Crest and the baby. And they released a smaller set that was the Mandalorian on the speeder bike with the child. So the idea that they were going to release a set of the Bad Batch wasn't a surprise, but the fact that it was like barely 2 episodes in, like they knew so far advance that they already had designed them, went through final production. Episode 1 dropped. Episode 2 dropped. By the way, here's a Lego set. I was like, oh, yes.
Remember in the 1970s when they had all those toys and nobody had them because you had to have this big display coming this Christmas? They're never going to let that happen again. They're going to get ahead of the game.
And at least they did the decent thing and waited until the episodes did air to release the Lego sets. Because not specifically Lego, but I think all of us can remember the Phantom Menace toy debacle of the early 2000s, where they released the toys weeks before the movie came out, flew off the shelves. You couldn't keep them. The movie came out. You couldn't give them away.
And the poor guy with the Jar Jar Binks tattoo on his back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that poor guy. But no, Bad Batch. What's really nice about the Bad Batch is, like I was talking to the guys at the comic book store. A couple of them had mentioned I was never a big Clone Wars fan. I never got into it. Now that it's on Disney, I get a chance to go back through and watch them. You don't really need to know the backstory of the Clone Wars to appreciate the Bad Batch. You don't have to have 8 years worth of, the Clone Wars and Rebels and all the other shows to appreciate this show. Any Star Wars fan knows what Order 66 was. We get to see what happened at that moment. The moment that the order was executed, and it goes from there. It's in the same universe, but it is its own story.
Exactly.
It's within a time period that you don't have to have an immense amount of backstory to understand what's going on.
Well, this is the continuation of Clone Wars. This is like what happens after Clone Wars and before Rebels,
Right.
Because we got to see the start of Rebels in the first episode.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Like I said before, it's like they wouldn't mention something unless they're going to tie it in later on. It's like a whole writing thing. Most of the time they don't do that. So if they're going to bring, that young Padawan in the very beginning, I'm sure they're going to bring him in toward the end.
No, he's in Rebels. He's in Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the main Jedi in Rebels, so it all makes sense.
I'm sure they'll bring him in toward the end of Bad Batch to sort of tie him into Rebels,
Well, I don't even think they even have to,
Well, yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think he went off. Well, his story in the comics, he went off and did some other stuff. So I don't know. Of course, we haven't really seen Bad Batch in the comic books, so
right.
I know that's being corrected soon. So
I'm sure they'll make comics of that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing that people want to do now is if they have a good series, they'll make a comics out of it, or if they have comics, they'll make a series out of it, vice versa.
Yeah, but what's really nice now is all the Marvel Star Wars comics has to be canon. They can't just go off and create their own stuff. It all has to fall within.
There's no extended universe anymore,
right?
Which is on one end kind of disappointing, but
yeah. But no, I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I've always been a fan of that style, the Clone Wars. I like that style of animation. I like the characters. I like Richard. It almost feels like the Star Wars version of the A-Team.
There you go. Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean? That's for people of our generation. That's the best. It's like how would you describe the Bad Batch so far? It's the building of the A-Team in the Star Wars universe. I got a feeling that you're going to see these guys be like the A-Team. They're going to go. They're going to try to survive, but it's also going to be them doing good wherever they go.
I would love, and maybe even I'll make it. What if you put like the A-Team theme song with all these things, and it's all Bad Batch stuff.
I'm telling you, you're saying it right now. I guarantee that there is probably at least 4 people in the entire world right now that are working on that TikTok video.
Exactly.
If you've got a problem and you know how to contact them, contact
the Bad Batch.
They're gonna paint their shuttle black, and it's gonna have that one red stripe.
Yep,
that goes up the wing.
That'd be funny to say. Yeah. Oh boy.
Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch 2? It was not after Bad Batch, but it was the Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
The Jedi Awakens from its nap.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens from that was adorable. I liked that one. That was a cute little throwaway.
Yeah, it was. We'll see. They've done a lot of different ones with the Simpsons like that, because I remember they had this special Empire Strikes Back style one that was released straight to DVD because you got the lunchbox that came with it.
Yeah. Did you notice? Did you watch at the very end, Richard, where when the ghost baby Maggie comes out, and then they put up the rules for Star Wars?
Oh,
I was going to, Richard, I was going to write them down, but there was like 4 rules for Star Wars. Main characters do not completely die.
Right.
Every episode has to have a 2-sun sunset.
Right.
The third one was there are no guardrails, which I appreciated that joke. But I wanted to tell you, Richard, I wanted to add an extra rule to that. Because not only are there no handrails or nothing, as an electrician, the one thing about the Star Wars universe that has always bothered me, and it still bothers me, no buttons or switches will ever be labeled in the Star Wars universe.
True. Yeah.
Ever. Like there's an entire panel of buttons and switches, and they're just pressing stuff, and I'm like, what does that button, even if it's like in like Star Wars language, I don't need to read vent plasma cannon. I just need to see squiggle. Nothing. And then after I'd made that joke to myself, Richard, which is on Disney Plus, you can watch, they're called fly-throughs. There's only 2 of them so far, but they're very beautifully done. It's like a virtual tour of the Millennium Falcon and of the Star Destroyers. Very beautifully done. It's just a camera painting through the ship. It gave one of the best visuals of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon I have ever seen. It beautiful detail. But again, I noticed nothing's labeled. Where's the goddamn landing gear? Where's the, you know what I mean? Nothing has any words on it whatsoever. That's always bothered me and will always bother me. That's the one thing Star Trek always had is that every button, you might not be able to read every button, but you saw there were words or numbers, you know. Nothing in Star Wars is labeled. But no.
Just like, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say that's the other thing besides the Star Wars, besides the Simpsons thing that was after Bad Batch. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, that is definitely something I would check out. I believe they're called the fly-throughs. Right now, it's only the 2 ships. I read that they're going to do more, but it was the Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyer. They're just like virtual tours of those ships, and they are beautiful. And
at least they're capitalizing all the Star Wars stuff, and that's what we always said they was going to do.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to mention, because I've been trying the last few shows to mention a comic book. We were talking about Robert Kirkman earlier, creator of The Walking Dead and Invincible. We had gotten into discussion at the comic book store about other properties that we would like to see, you know, made into an animated feature or animated series. And since it seems like right now Robert Kirkman has like a huge license with Amazon, just this week, one of my new favorite books, written and created by Robert Kirkman himself, it's called Firepower. Issue 11 dropped this week. I am a huge fan of this book. It is it's set in modern times, but it has a very kind of Avatar, The Last Airbender, martial arts, mystical kind of feel to it. And this is definitely one that I would not be surprised to see them touch, because the entire book from beginning to end very much opens itself up to being animated. I absolutely love that series, and especially right now. I've been on a real big, me and Richard talked about this. I still love my superhero books, but I've been noticing like the last year, a lot of non-spandex superhero titles have been making their way into the public eye. And this right here has really become one of my favorite books of this last year. Robert Kirkman's Firepower. I really recommend that book.
Check it out.
Yeah. Another thing.
Well, it's just like Mark Miller's doing the same thing over at Netflix.
Yes.
With Jupiter's Legacy just recently this weekend. The whole season got dumped yesterday. So that's unusual, getting the whole series at once nowadays, because we're getting so used to Disney on a weekly schedule to get all of
Amazon Prime too, because Amazon Prime did the Invincible 1 week at a time.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, because I know I know Amazon was even doing that with the Tom Clancy series. They were doing that weekly too. So, but it's just different because I'm not used to Netflix because I don't have it all the time. But I actually just to be able to get Jupiter Legacy, because I really wanted to see how this was going to work out. So,
well, let me ask you guys this, because we've both been we're both familiar with both types. We're both familiar with the weekly release and the binge. Which do you guys prefer? Because I'm on the wall. I really do enjoy the weekly, because it gives you a chance to process.
Breathe.
To breathe, to process that last episode, and to, like for me and Richard, to go week by week and talk about an episode. HBO Max has been doing the same thing with The Nevers. Mm-hmm. It's been weekly,
and they're going to do the same thing with Titans when they take over the streaming. Titans, it'll be weekly too. So,
but then going back to Netflix, another show that I had been watching were The Irregulars, which they did all at once.
Right.
What is the one I'm in the middle of watching right now? I believe it's Blood and Bone, which is based on a book series.
Yeah. That's the YA series, wasn't it, or something?
Yes. I'm enjoying that one, but again, it's they dump an entire season to it.
Yeah, because I started to watch what was that called? Space Sweepers, the movie from Korea, because they just bought that whole rights. That was hilarious.
I watched that. Yep.
Because I picked up Netflix on Thursday just so I could watch that ahead of time, and then jumped in Jupiter Legacy the next day. So
yep. Now I'm only about, I believe, 2 or 3. I think I just finished the 4th episode of Jupiter's Legacy, and from what I've talked to people who again, it's kind of like going back to Invincible. It is based on a comic book property,
right?
I'm hearing that this one is very faithful to the comic books.
That's what I've been hearing too. And I wish I read the comics back in the day, but for some reason I just could not get in it, because I don't know. I just didn't get into it at the time.
Right.
When did that come out originally? That was in the early 2000s?
Mid to early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah. I think that was during that time frame, like 2004 or 5, when I was in between trying to buy a comic book store and didn't know what was going on with my life at the time.
Yeah.
You guys were popping about streaming and weekly stuff. Did you guys hear that there was a show on Disney called Amphibia, and the last episode, which was the season finale, got leaked before they released it on Disney. It's on Disney Channel, the cable channel.
Oh, okay.
So, and it got leaked, and because I was doing like a little cartoon review on it on TikTok, and here's this week's thing, and I got some views on that because it's a new cartoon on Disney.
Yeah. Right.
So I was talking about it, and I wanted to talk about that, and it's like, well, Disney pulled back and said, oh, well, we're gonna wait a week on this.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow it got leaked. So it was on YouTube. It was on, and people were saying, "Oh no, don't watch it unless the creators." But the whole idea, I'm thinking, it's like if you would have just put it right on Disney Plus, it wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have to worry about that. Just as soon as it airs on Disney, put it right on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking, okay, well, now I'm going to find out if it aired. I was curious if you heard about that leak or not, because I know some.
Yeah, I heard about something about that. Yeah.
It was interesting to me that there was that somehow a last episode got leaked. I'm sure other shows get leaked sometimes too. So
yeah.
But speaking of Disney Plus, it's been a while since we've had anything Marvel to talk about. But we had 2 announcements from Marvel this last week. The one was for Loki.
Right.
A little bit of a leak. It was more just like, hey, we're it's going to be
yeah. Oh,
it's going to be on when I'm making Wednesdays, Fridays, or
Yeah.
When does that start again?
June. What is the Wednesday?
Because I was just curious as to why they switched it to Wednesday, and I'm thinking, I bet Star Wars, the Bad Batch is going to be on Fridays, and they'll have another one on Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they'll have 2 new shows a week.
Yeah, because Bad Batch goes all the way till August the 14th.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So I'm sure that's why they switched it.
Very
Hey, I'm going to be on Wednesday. Yeah, because there's a new show popping on Fridays. That's why.
Yeah, why? Why dump all the new episodes on the same day? Branch it out. Let people get a chance to watch.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But that was a nice announcement. And then the other, I wouldn't call it an announcement, but it was kind of like the video they released of kind of like previewing, teasing.
It's a teaser reel. Yeah.
A Phase 5. Dude, that one because that one got me, because there are there's many things I absolutely love. One thing that I absolutely love is when I love hearing Stan Lee's speech, which Frank, you'd mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That guy next door to you, he's your neighbor, he's your brother, and that girl next door to you, she's your sister. I can't listen to that without it's like, oh, I love that. I love that so much. The other thing I absolutely love is, and it's become a viral sensation, is when they released they released the footage from the movie theaters of Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah.
The end scene,
Emma's reacting to it.
I can't watch that. I've watched it 1,000 times, and every single time I watch it, I just, yes, God, yes. It gets me every single time. And for them to put those 2 together, my nerd emotions were just like, I can't deal with this right now. I'm going to be in a puddle on the floor and bawling my eyes out. These are 2 things that have always, just always get me. But then when it segued into Black Widow, and then they started to segue into, they actually showed some footage of the Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
That I was not prepared for. I was, Black Widow. Yeah, I was. Not to say I was expecting it, but yeah, it fits. But to see the Eternals, I was just like, holy smokes! And then Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Wakanda. I'm gonna say the name wrong. The next movie coming up, Shang-Chi or
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
That one, and then Thor: Love and Thunder, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and the entire time, what's good. Where I'm going with this, Richard. The entire time they're bringing them, I'm sort of going, oh, don't. It kept going, and going. I'm like, man, we're running out of time here. I'm looking at my scrubber bar, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'm like, okay. Now I can go back. My heart's in the right place now. It's not pounding on my chest. It's officially announced. Now I can go back and rewatch it without anxiety. But that trailer, teaser, whatever, the video that Marvel released, that was beautiful.
That probably was made for Comic-Con, but you know.
Oh, you know what, Richard? You are absolutely right. That was a Hall F video if I've ever seen it.
Loki is June the 9th. That's the Wednesday. I didn't know what the 9th. I couldn't think the Wednesday in my head. I had to look at a calendar real quick.
Damn it, Richard. I didn't think about that. You are absolutely right. That was a San Diego Hall H or whatever the famous hall was. And think about it, Richard. The only good part about that is, well, not the only good part. The good part about that is we didn't have to see it from some dude's cell phone video.
Yeah.
Because there's always that one guy that gets it, you know.
Well, anymore, they've been releasing a lot of that stuff to the public right away too.
Yeah, because they learned their lesson. You know, unless you take every single individual's, hell, dude, there's probably guys in there with the GoPro glasses. You know, it's like, bring on the teaser trailer. Click. You know,
I'm ready. I'm right here.
Yeah,
no, the guy at the AMC in Columbus got that canceled. They can't wear them anymore. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's pins and other things you could drag it on too, though. Yeah.
And the other trailer, we're talking about trailers. I know this isn't part of that, but you know, Stranger Things 4's little teaser got dropped this week too.
Ooh, yes, it did.
My daughter has seen Stranger Things the entire season, all 3 seasons. She's like, "My dad, you gotta watch this." That's the one series I have not been able to watch yet.
Whoa!
It's an 80s series and I haven't watched it yet. It's set in the time zone that I went through.
You gotta strike on your nerd card, you know.
I got my nerd card, huh?
No, I'm actually excited for you, Frank, because you are in a position where you can binge all of them with fresh eyes.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Now I know of it because I keep hearing people talking about it, like the monster thing. I forget what it's called.
Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon. Yeah, I know of them because people mention it all the time, so I know what they are. But it's like, again, I haven't seen the series, so.
And you got to think about it. I mean, I know COVID probably put a big damper on production, but this is one of those shows that they really had to get out as soon as they could because the kids are getting older, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all at the age where 2 years difference is a monumental difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Brady Bunch episode, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hey guys, you ready to? Are you guys ready to
like the Brady Bunch guy? Kid, I forget his name, but from the Brady Bunch. Yeah,
yeah.
I love how we can talk some of the things that were like really older shows, and we all know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I know that was cool.
It's like I don't have to explain it to you because we already know.
But I'm wondering if one of the ways they're going to get not around it, Richard. But I definitely got a. I don't want to say prequel vibe from it, but I definitely think something we're definitely going to see in the upcoming season is we're probably going to see a lot of flashback.
And it looks like we're going to get more characters too.
Yeah, and we're definitely getting Matthew Modine back because that was definitely his voice, man. I'm an 80s kid. I know Matthew Modine's voice. That was Matthew Modine. So.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to look forward this summer, right?
Yeah. Oh golly, yeah.
Well, I hate to say this, guys, but I have to wrap it because I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's been like 2 hours, so.
Yeah, it is 2 hours.
So again, real quick, Frank, where can our viewers and our listeners find all of your stuff at?
On Tercona.com, real easy. Go to Tercona.com. You can see the books there, the original 3 books. You can see the new comic books. The comic number 5 will be out next month, but I'll talk more about that probably in my TikTok videos or my YouTube videos and that kind of stuff like that. But right now I'm plugging comic number 4. I don't normally push 2 comics out right this close together, but we're kind of still in the pandemic. I didn't really go anywhere. I mean, on April 15th, my birthday. Hey, here's new comic number 4. If I was in a store, I'd say, hey, come to the store and check it out. It's a brand new, but I wasn't there. So yeah. Go ahead.
And Rich, where can everybody that's watching and or listening to the show find all of our episodes at?
Just go to undergroundvideonetwork.com. We got the UVN Plus video archive with over 800 videos from the last 18, going on 19 years. And then we also have the audio archive for all of the We Talk Too Much. So just go there, and then you will find linkage to all of our socials.
So on behalf of myself, Mike Boroff, and my friend Richard Catterjohn, Frank, thanks for popping in. We hope everybody's staying safe, staying healthy. We hope to see you at a con or an event here real soon. And Richard, if you would kindly please press the button.